But today we're going to continue reading Loving Love Me. Yeah, Loving Love Me, a Prime movie original by Prime Video UK. We're going to continue reading chapter 11 to 20. Hope you guys like this video. It's going to be a very long video, so it's going to be a bumpy ride. So, chapter 11, Blaze. It was 11:18. I was waiting for Amelia and Poppy while I tried to order an iced tea at the tropical counter. I couldn't stand being alone in the middle of so many people. I started breathing faster involuntarily. I tried to make eye contact with the barista, but he was too busy serving a cup of scantily clad girls. I felt someone push my shoulder. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Idiot chuckles follow. It was Marvin and Jackson. Looking at Jackson, lips was like getting elbow in the stomach. What's your idea? I asked, rubbing my back as Stone Marvin giggled. Jackson smiled in a familiar way, his mouth stretched back to reveal perfect teeth as he played with his lip piercing with his tongue. Then he put his big warm hand on my bicep. Don't have too much fun alone, Blaze. He licked his pierced lips and left me stunned. All I could do was watch him walk away from me. I promised myself that I wasn't here to torture myself. Jackson couldn't be here with whomever he wanted. It wasn't my business. I pulled my phone, which had been vibrating like crazy, out of my jeans pocket. Blaze, it was Amelia. I've been waiting for you for 10 minutes. Where are you? I have to be home in half an hour, I groaned. My brother's me in pain. Hold on, we're coming. Don't leave me in the lurch, I spat, then hung up. Finally, my iced tea came, the only good part of the night. When I turned around, I almost got goosebumps. Tiffany wasn't there, but Sammy sat on the couch with him. When Jackson let a girl kiss his neck, he had the unhealthy habit of staring at me. I don't know what kind of sick game he was playing, but at that moment, I felt like I was going to die. I almost ran to the bathroom. It was decorated in a vintage style like the rest of the game room. And there were too many people inside. I barely made it to the sink. Quick harassing me. I only repeated to myself, but I never had the courage to say it to his face. Get out of the way. Can you see that I need to get through? A tall tattoo guy got annoyed as I accidentally bumped into him. I always looked down when I was surrounded by annoying drunk people. The fear that someone will crack a joke that went too far was directly proportional to the likelihood that I burst into tears. Sorry. Flustered, I moved backward and bumped into his friend's chests. I was trapped. Shit. You spilled my drink. Watch where you're going, dickhead, someone screamed. I didn't know who said it because my brain was foggy and my rib cage constricted with a spasm. I was about to have a panic attack. Who are you calling dickhead? A voice thundered. I turned around and saw Jackson grab the tattoo guy and shove him. I didn't know how to react. He was about to start a fight and I couldn't breathe. Let go. I don't want to fight with a bunch of kids, one of the lunatics says, looking at us contemptuously. I was petrified. My side was crushed against the sink and I grasped the ceramic edge. Did you just defend me? I gasped breathlessly. It was just me and him. I didn't mean to, grumbled Jackson while he adjusted his jacket collar in the mirror. He checked himself out again, and I couldn't blame him. If I had his body, I'd do the same. But you did, I added with a bit of courage. Pathetic, pathetic loser, he muttered under his breath, untangling his blond hair with one hand. Hearing him utter those words wasn't new, but I still felt them twist a knife in my heart. It hurt. It wasn't just the words that he used toward me. It was a vicious way that he looked at me. He scorned me as if he was looking into a mirror capable of revealing his true nature. He didn't accept that reflection. His gaze was one of denial. Because that's what you are, Blaze, a pathetic loser, he repeated, wrinkling his nose in disgust. I wanted to prove him wrong, but I couldn't. I really was pathetic, and he knew it. I had been since the first rainy day at summer camp 2 years ago when he kissed me and I fell in love with him. Stop screwing with me. I screamed, but my brain capsized into disconnected thoughts out of a brief sense of guilt from daring to comfort him. Jackson ignored my pleas, flung the store door open, and pushed me inside. My back slammed against a dirty, moist tile wall as I lost myself in his ocean blue eyes. I swallowed, and the ground under my feet got slippery. I tried to move one step forward, but he turned around and lunged at me. He put both his hands on my chest, holding me back against the wall. I stared at his lips. I couldn't help myself. He made me feel so weak that I thought I was going to pass out. I hated him. I wanted him, and no matter how much he tried to hide it, there was a silent pull between us that wouldn't be it wouldn't be severe because of a few insults. You pissed me off, Blaze. Then it was just his lips against mine. Kissing Jackson was different. The only girl I ever kissed in my life was Tiffany during the game of Spin the Bottle, but Jackson didn't kiss like that. But Jackson didn't kiss like she did. It wasn't a soft kiss. His tongue wasn't smooth. It was rough, and his hand had the same roughness. I shut my eyes when his metal piercing made my lips quiver, and his tongue met mine in an unstoppable whirlwind. I was so caught up in the heat of the moment that I almost didn't realize how rock hard Jackson's body felt against my stomach. After the kiss at summer camp for a moment, I thought I was wrong, but then I didn't have any more doubts. I didn't like girls. He was the one I wanted, the 6'3" football player who shot me furtive glance at halftime. With labored breath, Jackson tore his lip from mine, releasing me from his releasing me from his hold of his solid weight. Incredulous but pleasantly confused, I brought my fingers to touch my lips. I had frozen against the wall during the entire kiss. I hadn't even had the courage to caress his jaw as he put his hand all over me. What the fuck are you looking at now? He growled. Jackson flung the door open and left, employing his great talent, leaving me breathless once again. 12 June. Where are the keys to the Mustang? William asked when we got back to the tropical entrance. James gave them to me, but if he finds out you're driving, Marvin massages the clean-shaved nape of his neck as he looked at us absentmindedly. Give me the keys, Wills. Give me the keys, Will said forcefully, completely changing the tone of his voice. Marvin shrugged nonchalant, threw Will the keys, and went back to chatting with the girls. Will, where are you? Where are we going? I tried to keep up with him as he headed toward the parking lot, only stopping when we reached the sports car. The metallic black paint dazzled in the night. It looked like it was in mint condition. Is it yours? No, it's James. He opened the car door. Get in. Why do you have to drive his car? I demanded as I complied. As soon as I sat in the passenger seat, I knew the car was new. It was smelled like pine trees. The mats didn't show a single imperfection in every detail from the door handles to the steering wheel was immaculate. William didn't answer my question. He seemed too focused on starting the engine. I had to be careful. This thing will go from 0 to 60 just by tapping on the gas pedal. He murmured, agitated. The front of the car was dark, but I saw his pupil dilated, and I started getting a bad feeling in my gut. I clearly understood the signal he was trying to send me. Something wrong, and you're about to walk into some serious shit, June White. What kind of dad will buy this kind of car for his teenage kid? I blurted a bit indignantly. Will shot me a perplexed look. I was like a carbon copy of my mom when I acted this way. His dad just got it for him. Where the hell are we going? I asked again when I started picking up on how irritated he was acting. Will ran his finger through his hair with one hand and firmly grasped the steering wheel with the other, drumming his fingers on it. June, do you have your license? I do, but they took it away. I pretended not to hear the last part because otherwise I would have asked him 20 questions and something told me William wouldn't like that. Why why couldn't they go? Why do you have to go, Will? It's something I had to deal with. I bit my lower lip. I felt uneasy, but William seemed more preoccupied than me. My eyes widened when he suddenly put on the turn signal and pulled over. He slammed the brakes and I jumped in my seat. My heart was pounding and my throat was dry when I suddenly heard him turn the car off. Well, what's going on? His eyes were glued to the windshield. The dark envelope us and I started to shake. I was with a guy I barely knew in a car that wasn't his, and he was driving without a license. Not to mention it was late at night, and we were going to rescue an asshole I hated. I looked at the dashboard. The clock said 7:30. Fantastic. My mom was going to lock me up at home for life. Maybe I should just take you home. That evening, umpteenth change of plans didn't bother me. In fact, I expected it. I thought about it more. It's not safe to bring you with me. William's eyes locked with mine, and I sensed the mix of contrasting fear and excitement that he was feeling. What happened to James? I waited for William to answer me. He was reluctant to respond. He got jumped. He answered after a moment. I was horrified, but I tried not to show it. You're joking, right? You're joking, right? Sorry. He knew he still he knew and he still went anyway. Give me your address. I'll put in the GPS and take you home. William turned the car on with a rumble, and I vaguely sensed adrenaline rushing through my veins. I suddenly felt drunk like I was on a roller coaster. I knew getting out of there and having him drive me back was the right thing to do. But suddenly, I didn't want to go home anymore. And what if something bad happened to William too? No, I want to come with you. I was being impulsive, maybe even reckless. You seem really worried about him, and I don't want to leave you alone. William smiled. Okay, we'll go. Otherwise, Who's gonna listen to him? I bet, I grumbled. After driving down dark dirt road for a few minutes, we finally reached what looked like an abandoned theme park. What kind of place is this? I asked quietly, anxiety eating at my stomach. I didn't regret coming with him, but I hadn't expected to end up in such a creepy place. And now go-kart park. They've turned in, they've turned it into a nightclub. I stuck my head out of the window. A large, sketchy building stood out in the night. A broken neon sign sputtered on the edge of the facade with another metal sign dangling above. As soon as we parked, I saw a figure on the ground. Oh, Jesus. I heard William started to sound stressed. How James get all the way out here? Why didn't he take his car? The situation was really bizarre. I think they brought him here, he said before getting out of the car. Who's they? I shouted before opening the car door. William moved in front of me and motioned for me to wait in the car. June, I'm June, I'm gonna go find out what's going on. A purplish neon light glowed from an open door. Music was blasting in the distance as the silhouettes of small groups of people mingled in the dark. William approached the figure on the ground, then looked around for a few moments before motioning for me to join him. I flung the already ajar car door open and got out of my seat. The air smelled like a tobacco and a little woody. Something tickled my throat and seemed to hang in the air. I squinted to get a sense of my surroundings and realized that we were in the middle of the desert. James, Jr., William said this like he was reprimanding him. The figure on the ground was covered in blood and dirt. So I shouldn't come here? Snapped James, dragging his arms on the ground in an attempt to get up. Did you at least give it back to you? Asked William as he helped his friend hold himself up. Does it look like they did? He spat, motioning at his swollen face. His groans got louder as soon as he saw me. Damn it. Did you have to bring her too? He snapped. Be thankful he came to get you, I shot back. Shut up, he replied before collapsing again. Say the zombie. Make her shut up, Will. Dude, you got your ass kicked bad and you're bleeding. I know, but look, Will, he suddenly trailed off realizing that I wasn't there. So, they're not gonna pay you back after all? Will lowered his voice, hoping I wouldn't hear him as James shook his head and slipped on the dusty ground again. Damn it, can you at least walk? William didn't seem capable of popping him up, or maybe James was too proud to accept his help. Stay here. I'm gonna get the first aid kit. Do you have it in your car from the last time? James nodded languidly. It's in the trunk. Then he directed his glare at me and quit staring at me like that. Your face is so fucked up that I'm trying to figure out which one is your eyes and which one is your lip. I let my curiosity get the best of me as Will headed toward the car. Who did this to you? Damn it. Well, don't leave me alone with her. She keeps staring at me. It's creepy, moaned James. I'm staring at you because you look like one of those paintings my mom makes when she blindfolded. I retorted, crouching down to examine the wounds. Your mom paints blindfolded? She must be a genius. That must be where you get it from, he muttered as he inserted the vape pen between his lips and took a deep drag. No, dumbass. It's one of the classes she teaches for her students. But what do you care? In fact, I didn't ask about your In fact, I didn't ask you about shit. I guess. You're the one broadcasting your life. As, as if anyone will care about your ranting on Instagram Live. Instagram? I held back my insult because they got too far. Help me, he demanded. I looked at him puzzled. He was too beaten up that he was unrecognizable. I grumbled but decided to oblige. I held him up as he got back on his feet. As I grabbed his rock hard bicep, I inhaled the scent of mint and fabric softener. Why do you leave it? Why do you leave your car at Tropical? Who brought you here? He sneered with his split lip, almost amused by my morbid curiosity. I took it back. I don't want to know. James grimaced in pain, and as much hatred as I felt for him, a part of me felt bad for him. That bad, huh? What do you think? He asked. I don't think so because you got high beforehand. James collapsed with his back against the building wall as he fiddled with a clear piece of rolling paper. Watching what I'm doing, he said it barely raising his head. But even with a slight movement, our eyes locked for a while. Locked for a second, just enough to make me flinch. I shook my head in an attempt to shake it off the feeling that he had aroused in me. I'm saying it because I saw you put that crap in your mouth first. I didn't know what it was called, but it was definitely illegal. It's numb my mouth and face. It numbs your brain, I quipped. He seemed amused by the joke. That too, but most of all, it numbs my mouth. You should try it. Maybe it'll shut up for 2 consecutive minutes, he said, before slowly and confidently licking the rolling paper. William footsteps brought out bickering to a halt. What are you talking about, my tongue? And George explained James placidly. What? Stunned, William stared at him and then decided not to take the bait. He set the first aid kit on the ground. That's not you. Forget it. I remember pouring some alcohol on the cotton ball Will handed me. And then I didn't know what was worse, James' split lip or his bloody eyebrow. What the fuck are you doing? James blocked my wrist, bringing it above his head before I could get any closer. Look at your cheekbones. It's really bad, James Williams said before turning to me. His wounds needed to be disinfected. There's a risk that they could get infected, isn't there? Do I have a nurse written on my face? I snapped. William frowned, astounded by my rude reaction. Obviously, James was the only one amused by this comedy sketch. Do it for William, I whispered to myself as I took a deep breath. Don't you dare come any closer. Wanna touch me, White? James pointed a finger at me. I was at my wit end, and I had enough of his crap. You know what I do want to do angrily? I lit the cotton ball in front of his perfect nose. I want to shove this in the whole first aid kit up your. I stopped myself abruptly because William's shocked expression immediately got my attention. Don't make me swear. I bit my tongue, but James seized the opportunity to give it a try, princess, and then we'll find out what you'll find up your Jane mimic. I threw everything on the ground. Well, listen, he's a man child, and I don't know how you put up with him. You even came here to help him. Shut the fuck up for once. Don't tell me to shut the fuck up. When I'm trying to help you, I abruptly turn around and we scale at each other threateningly. June, James, chill out. We have bigger problems here, William said in a futile attempt to reason with us. You want to help me? Snow White? You sure about that? The Moran stretched out his arms and looked down at the crotch of his pants. Sickle. I snapped as James chortled like a bratty kid. For Christ's sake, James, what do you always have to treat her like this? Then he turned to me, and you were June. Where are you going? Will tried to call. Will tried to call me, but I was too angry to listen. I'm leaving. Help him yourself. I started screaming, storming off. Stop her. Well, it's not safe here. James' raspy, lazy voice hit me from behind, sending a chill down my spine. June stopped, really ran after me with the best of intention, but seeing how he but seeing how he equates to his friend in every situation made my blood boil. What do you want? What do you always do what he says? It's not that simple. There's stuff you don't know. You two with this bullshit? Is your brain not working, William? Are you forced to depend on him? The poor guy's jaw dropped, clearly showing that I gone too far. I could be impulsive, but James Hunter brought out the worst in me. I gotta say, Blondie, looks like a goody two shoes, but what, a bitch? I warned you, didn't I? Spewed James with a tinge of amusement about to light up his joint. I gnashed my teeth while Will took a deep breath. James, shut up for a second. Will turned to me. June, please, I can't tell you right now. It's not your fault, Will. I probably shouldn't see you if you're friends with someone like that, and I'm sorry. I admit it. And you're defending her too, Will? She's a fucking pain in the ass. Do you want to ignore that just because she has great tits? Will tried to grab my arm, but I slipped out of his hand. I hurled myself at Hunter. He was barely standing up with his shoulder pushed up against the wall. No amount of fear could dislodge him. In fact, he insisted on provoking me. I said, you had great tits, but you're a fucking pain in the ass. You heard that right? My vision went blurry. I knew my vision went blurry. I threw a punch at his nose so hard that my knuckles cracked like they just shattered into a million pieces. How about that, Hunter? You heard that, didn't you? June 13th. Fuck. His rabid bitching and moaning didn't faze me in the least. James held his nose in the palm of his hand. I don't know what happened next because I turned around and walked the other way. June, what are you doing? Are you crazy? William exclaimed incredulously. And you, James, you're unbelievable. She just punched me. Are you fucking blind, Will? In fact, you're probably pissed since you're running after a lunatic. They exchanged a few more words, but the only thing I could hear was Jane's voice, albeit distance. I didn't know where I was going, but I wanted to get as far from that creature as possible. They will take you home, June. William jogged behind me as James limped behind him. June, I'm serious. You might not know this, but there's are a lot of sketchy people here with locked eyes, and that's enough to slowly cool the rage inside me. I loosened my fist at my sides and looking around caught a glimpse of face that were anything but friendly. Okay, I conceded. I was crestfallen. What a terrible way to end your day. I kept my mouth shut as I hid in the back seat of the Mustang. I'm driving that criminal, declared without even bothering to thank his friend. Are you serious? Is my fucking car isn't right? Your dad's not gonna kill you if you get home in this state. I don't give a shit about what my dad says to me. His tone was so cutting that it gave me goosebumps. Wow, you're such a rebellious bad boy, I bit my tongue as Hunter turned to Clover at me from the driver's seat. I looked at his split open lip and eyebrows that was still bleeding. I should have told him he didn't scare anyone. I look away. Shut your mouth, White, or I'll drop you off in the middle of nowhere. Not even a wild animal will be able to put up with you, he said as he turned on the ignition. Yeah, right. Do you want to find out? He threatened. James is joking, June. Where do you live? William said in attempted to diffuse the tension. I heard him groan in frustration after I give them my address. Great, right near me. Your house is on the way. Well, what should I do? Go back and forth? No, drop me off first. We stepped in front of a townhouse not too far from school. William hesitated before getting out. Right here for a minute. You owe me, James. James turned on the vape pen before shooting us a series of dirty looks. Get a move on. June, can I please talk to you for a second? I sensed some discomfort in Will's voice, but his politeness was a stark contrast to the intense change of events that had just taken place. I got out of the car and followed him to the front door. His embarrassment was palpable. I know it's been a disaster, he apologized, tensing his shoulder. That wasn't the first part, tensing his shoulder. The part wasn't, I answered. Do you have fun too? I saw a faint glimmer in his eyes. Yeah. I swear there'll still be a way too. I still want to see you, June. His finger brushed my cheek. Are you done saying goodbye? Are you going to spend all night whispering sweet nothing into each other's ears? James' sullen voice fractured the moment. I better go before my parents wake up. See you tomorrow, June. Will whispered under his breath, then tilted his head, craning his neck toward me. I remained frozen, paralyzed by my anxiety. Should I kiss him? William decided for both of us and kissed me on the cheek. Then he walked up the stairs to the porch. Are you going to start moving your ass? Or do you want to walk home? I braced myself for a nasty joke about the chastic kiss that Will and I had shared, but James didn't say anything. It looked like William wasn't the object of his contempt, and that was reserved just for me. It wouldn't be a bad idea, I snapped angrily sitting in the passenger seat. James stared at me and I felt a chill that was anything but reassuring. What the hell had getting in the car with him alone at night even crossed my mind? I had punched him and now here I was. Look, White, it's been a long night. I had a lot to think about and you're the last thing on my mind, he said as he turned on the ignition. The feeling mutual, but you're gonna pay for it, he finished. His word distracted me from his reckless driving. What? When you least expect it, it's more fun that way, isn't it? He sneered. Let me make this clear, Hunter. You're unbearable. Do you want to know why you have the guts to say something like that to my face? He asked, putting a vape pen between his front teeth. Maybe because I'm not afraid of you? Wrong, princess. It's because I'm drunk. Oh my god, how? Why are you driving? You couldn't put us in danger like that. If I was sober, you wouldn't be talking this much. Right. If you were sober, who knows what kind of shit you'd be giving me, I snapped, irritated. You punched me, but I'm taking you home. You had the nerve to talk to me like that? I furtively glanced at his perfect profile. James' nose wasn't. James' nose was long and straight. It didn't seem to get punched often. The tip curved slightly upward, giving him in the tip curved slightly upward, giving him enviable profile. He blew a raspberry. I can see you. His lips wrapped around the mouthpiece of the vape pen. I decided to not take the bait and turn to the window. You should go. You, you should at least go to the ER. Do you think this is the first time I've gotten in a fight? And no, I'm not talking about how you tapped me, he chuckled. Who could talk about violence so casually? And do you think you're talking to a moron who impressed by your bad boy act? No, I just think I'm talking to a moron, that's all. James slowed down by my house and got out to throw the empty vape cartridge in the trash can. Do you really care about the environment or do you just want to go to bed with a clear conscience? I asked, eyeing him from the open door. The white t-shirt covering his abdomen was stained with blood and torn in some places. James smiled, then licked his lip. Then licked his. Sorry, let me read that again. James smiled, then licked his lower lip with his tongue, with the tip of his tongue. And he did that a lot, and it bugged me a lot. Maybe it was because I felt something crawl under my skin every time I looked at his mouth. And got into the car again and pulled a new vape pen out of his tracksuit pocket. I don't like you. You talk too much, he said, unperturbed, before putting the vape back in his mouth. So do you? And the feeling is mutual. Just ask your friends. I'm usually a man of few words. James was provoking me. I was sure that neither Ari nor Poppy would ever have the nerve to be with someone like him. And Amelia, I got lost in my thoughts and didn't notice that he was glowering at me. Do you want to get out, or are we going to keep making googly eyes at each other, White? I asked myself how he wasn't in excruciating pain after getting beaten up like that. Do you usually go to bed like this? I asked. I saw him play with power I saw him play with the power button on the vape pen. He turned it on and off, then shot me a threatening look. Get the hell out, princess. I'm saying this for your own good. 14. June. June. Tiptoeing into the house didn't do me any good. My mom was already home, sitting like a ravenous lion, ready to eviscerate a gazelle, and I was anything but grateful. I dropped a seat. I dropped a set of keys, bumped into the bookshelf, and barely avoiding tripping over paintbrushes after the impact. What sane person had paintbrushes on display for decoration? June, were you vaping? She turned on the living room lights, aimed at lamp at my face, and went straight to give me the third. He went straight to giving me the third degree. No, mom. What are you talking about? My innocent little angel act had no effect on her. You're narrow late and you're rid of it. I saw her sniff my sweatshirt. Suspiciously smoke. What the hell is that? All of a sudden, she turned into a fierce bloodhound. Mom, other people around me were vaping. Maybe that's why I smell like it. Right, because there's no law prohibiting vaping in public places, right? Do you think I was born yesterday? Is it my fault if other people smoke? Riz confront Riz contorted her face into even more wrinkles than normal. She threw her reading glasses on the couch and tore me a new one. Alright, well, you're not going anywhere like that again. But I didn't have the energy to argue. I just wanted to go to bed. Do your new friends vape? I'm 17 and I don't vape. If one of my new friends did, why would you have an issue with that? It's not like we're little girls. The problem is that you came home an hour late. You're talking back to me like that, and you smell like a frat house, Shijo, making me laugh. I'm going to bed. I have school tomorrow. I cut her off. June, I bolted upstairs. The next morning, I rolled out of bed at a snail pace. Didn't hear the alarm go off, but unlike what usually happens, my mom didn't came to wake me up. Was she still pissed at me last night? This was a clear declaration of war. Mom, why didn't you wake me up? I shouted down the hall in the middle of a meltdown. I hadn't been at this school for even a week, and I was already risking getting marked down. I brushed my teeth with one hand and took off my pajamas with the other. You're 17, you're not a kid anymore. Or am I wrong? If you don't hear the alarm, it's certainly not my fault. I heard her mark me from downstairs. This was her favorite parenting technique, to use wave of resentment packaged in front of in packaging in the form of cliches. You have to write me a note excusing me. I'm so late that I'll miss first period. I whined as we headed off in the car. I couldn't function without breakfast. You figured it out. With great power comes great responsibility. Start getting used to it, June. You didn't even brush your hair, and my mom looked at me from my head to toe and stared at my clothes. Where's your uniform? She demanded as she pulled over by the school gate. My eyes widened as I realized that I forgot to put on my uniform, but we were really at school in a half hour late to boot. Mom and I said goodbye quickly, and I ran toward the entrance. I was weird to see the hallway completely empty and hear my footstep echo against the wall. Without no justifying my being late, I was dawdled at my locker. I didn't want to walk into class right in the middle of it. I wasn't in the mood to get told off, and I certainly wasn't in the mood to have the whole class staring at me. A dull thought startled me, bringing me back to reality. James Hunter punched his locker door again, but it still wouldn't open. He hit it again in a shiver. At that point, the locker opened and James flung the door back and threw his cell phone inside. I saw him use his palms to message the nape of his neck, which was bruised from last night's events. He either didn't realize I was there or chose to ignore me. I didn't want to admit it, but deep down, I felt guilty for punching him. It had been the culmination of all the frustration and irritation that he provoked through the evening. I moved closer. Hunter was wearing a pair of track pants and a white hoodie. James, what the fuck do you want? I bit my tongue, immediately regretting saying anything to him and moved back, but I was stunned when he turned around. His cheekbones were black and blue and his jaw was swollen. His straight nose pointed upwards and seemed like the only part of him that was intact in the middle of all the cuts and blotches. Why the fuck are you always staring? His words fell on deaf ears. I was too stunned by what I saw. None of these wounds had cleared up even a bit. Nobody took care of him. Let me get this straight. Your parents didn't say any. It only took him 2 steps forward to loom over me. Look, Snow White. Look, Snow White. Listen to me loud and clear. Stay away from me. The tension from his gaze was too much to handle, so I lowered my eyes again. Your hand's bleeding again. It's not doing anything. It's a flesh wound, he spat dryly. Those cuts look pretty deep. If you don't take care of them, they'll keep opening up. You better see the nurse, I murmured with a jolt of courage. He lowered his head as if he wanted to recapture my attention. You really care that much, huh? I looked up and our eyes met, confusing me. His words were tinged with subtle sarcasm and his lips were curled into an insolent grin, confirming my suspicion. Come with me, he said, taking a step back. Where? This is an opportunity for you to clean up the mess you made yesterday, White. May I remind you? James took me by surprise, but I decided not to listen. But I decided not to let him see that I followed him to the nurse's office without saying a word. Do you really care? Are you putting on a front so you can go to bed with a clear conscience? He borrowed my exact word, which gave me a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach. He remembered what I said again. The nurse's office was a narrow little room with a strong smell of disinfectant. James sat on a stretcher with a mattress that seemed like it couldn't hold his weight. I had no intention of apologizing. I wanted to make him understand that since I had my reason for doing what I did, there was no reason to make me pay. Make me pay. We were even. Look, Hunter, about last night. Without any warning, James grabbed the end of his sweatshirt and put it off. He was shirtless, and I looked at him skeptically. I didn't know what he gained from stripping in front of people, but he did it often. I'm hot. Don't give me any shit about it, he barked. Carmen, he yelled. A stocky middle-aged woman poked her head out from the nurse's office. Oh, you again. I'm coming, she groaned in a thick accent. Peering beyond the curtain that separated the stretchers, I noticed she was wearing a white coat. You're in good hands now. I'm going to head to class, I whispered, as James put a vape pen between his lips. Where's my uniform, Wade? The shirt had come out of the wash, wrinkled, not to mention the jacket. I would have made my mom iron it, but I knew how she react if she found out we had a guy's uniform in her house. I'll bring it back tomorrow. How about yours? Why he think was long legs and stared at me. At first, I stared back at him, appreciating his bare chest. James' ass was defiant, protruding from his smooth skin without bulging too much. I lingered at the veins twisting along his lower stomach and disappeared under the edge of his pants. I rapidly looked up, but he made it clear it wasn't that slick. I felt his gaze on me like a waterfall. It caressed my lips, went down to my throat, brushed against my breast, and then my leg. Usually everything was black and white for me, and there were no happy mediums. But at that moment, I barely understood the sensation I was feeling. The nurse walked in and interrupted the strange moment of stillness. Oh, Edward, I see someone decided to let you have it. I looked around us. We were alone. White, get lost. Carmen will take care of me now. Dane dismissed me as soon as he noticed my facial expression, but he couldn't get rid of me that easily. Normally, he is the one sending people to the nurse's office and giving me a ton of work to do, said Carmen, washing her hands in the sink on the wall. And the principal never explained him. The two exchanged a conspiratorial look. Careful, honey. Don't see anyone else here. He didn't say anything. They seemed to have a friendly rapport. No vaping in the nurse's office, Carmen reprimanded. Good. Reprimanded good naturedly. Let me get this straight. I can have sex here but not smoke. I gotta go to class. Bye. I sputtered before sleeping out. Oh, I love that time when guys fought over me. The woman let slip, causing James to whine in disgust. What do you mean? Do you think I fought for her? I left the door ajar, hesitating before I head out. Getting fights about anything that breathes. You couldn't fight for a girl as pretty as she is. I peeked through the crack in the door and held back a chuckle when I saw Carmen came at James Elliot with a cotton ball with rubbing alcohol. James didn't want to stay still, so the cotton ball landed in the middle of his left eye. Fuck! Why did you bring her here? I caught him as he curled his lips and then shrugged indifferently. She's cute, continued Carmen, making me blush. The ones I bring her, you mean not her. She's a meddling bitch, that one. I should say so, but be careful, Edward. I stayed behind the door, eavesdropping. Are you still playing Romeo? Tilda keeps bugging me with that shit. You can't just take a You can't just take the good without the bad when it comes to ladies. And watch your mouth, she scolded with a material tone. What can I do if girls are just a pain in the ass? Then you, then you just haven't found the right one. You only watch telenovelas while eating conchas for breakfast, he countered, making her laugh. Maybe you don't even have to look that far. I couldn't help but wonder what was going through Carmen's head and how she could be so affectionate with him. She's a ball and chain, and now she's going out with William. The silence that fell between those four walls was heavier than a boulder. Oh, how's he doing? She asked after a pause. I said good, but as usual, that would be bullshit. Were they talking about the same guy I going out with last night? I'm sure. Edward, I know that deep down you're a good guy, she concluded in a friendly tone. Deep down, huh? So can I smoke? Of course not. Get lost. And don't hurt yourself again. As I heard those words, I bolted down the hallway like a lunatic, reached the classroom door, and took deep breath. The teacher greeted me cordially as I walked in, not acknowledging my lateness. I quietly sat in the first empty seat I found right next to Amelia. She kept staring at me, stunned. Where were you? I couldn't wait for you to get here. My alarm didn't go off. I muttered, rummaging through my backpack for my chemistry notes. So, she stared at me cheerfully, waiting for an answer. So what? You got a date with William? How did it go? James walked into the classroom and I instinctively looked down. He was wearing a hoodie again in swagger in front of the teacher, without even looking at him. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him sit at the second to last bench next to Sammy. But he didn't even bother to pull out a book or notebook. Instead, he sprawled in the seat with his eyes glued on his phone, as if he wasn't at school. Is everything okay with Will? I whispered, but the teacher cut me in the eye. Miss White, do I have to remind you that you came to class an hour late? I'm sorry, I wasn't slow on the uptake, but I was lying wasn't my forte. I don't care about your excuses, but could you tell me why you even bother showing up to class if you're so disinterested in the lesson? No, well, do you have a pass? No, really, but I was. Where were you, Miss White? The class sat in an icy silence. The chemistry teacher wasn't famous for his sympathy. In fact, he was known for me being a big pain in the neck. It was my fault, teacher. Jane's voice cut the silence, leaving me speechless and made her late. Right then, I interpreted it as him trying to come to my rescue, but when I turned around, I saw the smirk on his face indicating that he wanted to make me pay. Brian whirled around the glower at me as Amelia shot me a less than reassuring look. The teachers started to reprimand James, but I could only focus on listening to Amelia. Are you nuts? Her thin lips trembled and her pupils shrank like two pinheads. Pinheads. She seemed furious. It's not what it sounds like. I tried to justify my actions. No, June, you're not taking the situation seriously. Come to my house this afternoon, she said, grabbing her phone hidden in her pencil case. My phone vibrated. It was a message from the group chat. Amelia, everyone at my house today's squad meeting. That afternoon, I had to fight a little harder. Normally, my mom would never object to an afternoon of studying with classmates, but due to recent events, she wasn't buying it. Finally, I pulled a Finally, I pulled the "I'm new and I need help" card, and she gave in. She brought me to Amelia's, and I had a knot in my stomach during the entire ride over. I didn't like lying, and I lost count of the number of lies I told since I moved to Laguna Beach. "I'll come get you in 2 hours," she warned me. The Hood house wasn't a little town like ours. It was a freestanding home with a wooden porch in a big backyard. It was surrounded by plants and framed by big trees, with foliage resting on the perfectly plastered outside walls. Amelia met at the door. She wore dark leggings, a black crop top, and plush slippers. It was casual outfit, but looked anything but on her. Her thin body was always perfect. Everything looked good on her. I didn't notice as much of a difference when we were in our uniforms, we're but now wearing my oversized t-shirt and equally baggy jeans, the comparison was brutal. We passed a big living room through the windows, and I noticed gardeners working outside as the two women were sweating over the stove. My brother is going to study at Blaze, Amelia told me without much enthusiasm. Brian and Amelia didn't seem like they were particularly smiley. In fact, I'd be shocked if I found photos of them happy and carefree in the hallways. The house seemed like it didn't have any family memories in it, which gave me a weird feeling. Happy and I were already there. Happy hugged me while Ari offered me a cupcake from a tray. Being the foodie I was, the sight of the cupcakes stood out immediately. They were too small. Do you make them, I asked? Sit cross-legged on the carpet, I nodded with a vaguely disappointed look as I glanced around. It was the first time I'd been in Amelia's room, and it seems like it belongs to a high schooler with Peter Pan syndrome. With Peter Pan's Peter Pan syndrome and stuffed Rainbow Dash towered over the bed. Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. The walls were filled with snapshots of special moments, and the bookshelf was studded with Disney stickers and many young adults. I felt a little jealous. Her whole life was there. It just took one look to get a good idea of Amelia's childhood. I compare myself to her again. I must reduce to bring just a few pieces from my last year to do the next place, and every time we move, I lost my little part of me. I didn't keep any of the stuffed animals I played with as a kid, and I couldn't even remember the small bedroom that I had before my parents' divorce. I actually made them for Brian, but he left them in the kitchen without even looking at them. Complained Ari. They were so tiny that I could eat the first one in one bite. I wanted another one, but the other girl didn't seem interested in eating. Poppy sat on the bed, painting her nails as Amelia roamed around looking for a bobby pin. She ended up putting her hair in a bun and positioning herself in the middle of the room. Okay, cut the bullshit. I call you here to talk about a very specific subject, she thundered solemnly. James. Who gives a shit about James? Did it go well with William? Ari interrupted, turning to me. I did just take a bite into another cupcake. Yeah, I replied, laconically after I finished chewing, but she wasn't happy with my short answer. And Amelia stretched her arms out, waiting there. Clary wanted. Amelia stretched her arms out, waiting. They clearly wanted details. Do you kiss? Pressed Ari. Was it a pet tongue? Did you get a hickey? Inquired Poppy, piggybacking off Ari. I looked at her confused while Amelia motioned for her to drop it. I think we're about to kiss, but then James. I didn't need to see any more. The girl exchanged knowing looks. He had to spend the night hovering over William, didn't he? Asked Amelia. I nodded dejectedly. We had to pick him up at this awful place, but he says he wanted to see me again. William, I mean, the worried expressions changed, and I could have sworn that I saw a glimpse of happiness in them. Someone into our June commented Ari, putting a bit of lip balm on her. Putting a bit of lip balm on. Her tone was scripted a minute ago. She seemed enthusiastic. Now she seemed almost bored. Meanwhile, I wiped my lips with the back of my hand, which was anything but ladylike. But I don't know if Williams actually interests me. I groaned. They ignored the part. Emilia went back to her initial questions. James, tell me about him. Where he take you? We went. Some were awful. I don't know what it was called. Someone beat him up. Do you know? See how rough up he was at school today? She started biting her nails as her expression became increasingly concerned. He definitely owes someone money, Poppy said. I don't think James would get into a fight over money, knowing how vain he is. There has to be another reason, counter Amelia. What if Poppy began? What if Poppy began? Judging by Ari's glare, Poppy was about to go down a slippery slope. So, do you want to go out with Will again or not? Amelia changed the subject, catching my attention again. Yeah, why wouldn't I? They didn't want to tell me anything. I added, going back to James, but I got the impression that James got involved with some sketchy people. Of course, it's all rumors, right? I asked a bit apprehensively. I wanted them to spill the tea. Should I really be afraid of someone like that? June, you don't know him, replied Amelia. And trust me, it's better that way, because you don't want to be around him when he is mad, Poppy pointed out. You're exaggerating, I said, but they didn't take it lightly. He put my brother in a hospital, Amelia said. He almost killed a guy when he was 16, Poppy let slip. The other two were getting upset, their eyes wetting as they stopped blinking. What, you're kidding, right? I asked. Poppy turned away as soon as she realized what she said, but it was too late now. Poppy, the other two girls admonished her in unison. Are you serious? I didn't bother to hide my disbelief. Yeah, with a wrench. Hobby mentioned this so casually that I understood that she wasn't lying. Hobby enough. This time, Amelia gel in her face contorted into a grimace that looked exactly the same as Brian's tormented expression. What did I say? The blonde fluttered her eyelashes innocently as I brought my hands to her face. Oh my god, that doesn't matter. Amelia cut me off. What happened with you two? Nothing. You were together and now you hate him? Yeah, we're together, Amelia stammered, brushing it aside. I'm going to get a drink. What do you want, June? They, they indicated that she wanted to change the subject. But I didn't give up. Well, what happened? I insisted. We went out and didn't end well. That's it, she concluded robotically as if she was reciting lines from a play. Come on, Ari. Let's get some juice. Ooh, juice. I want some juice. She made air quotes as she said those words and reached the door. I'll be pissed if you tell my brother. Got it, Poppy? The pair disappeared and I was alone with Poppy. Just the right person if I wanted to know what was going on. Finding out about James Hunter, life was certainly not my priority. But if I wanted to date his best friend, I had to at least ascertain the gravity of the situation. I put my hands between my knees. What happened between Amelia and James Hunter? Did they really go out? Probably fanned her hands to dry her polish. One night during Tiffany's birthday party. Jesus, June, it was a shit show, she replied, unnerved. What happened? I whispered, keeping an eye on the door. You wouldn't get it if I told you. It all started a year ago. Brian and James went to elementary school together. They were friends. Suddenly, cut herself. She suddenly cut herself off. We weren't alone anymore. Amelia was back with two glasses brimming with something that looked like an orange soda. Poppy, just a fruit juice for you, she warned. I felt guilty. I didn't want them to fight because of me, but on the other hand, I was asking her for some honesty. Look, June, I know it seems ridiculous to you, but last year was a tough year for my family. And yes, I was with him, but I made a curse lips trying to figure out what to say. Then he cheated on her. He cheated on you, didn't he? Ari interrupted, coming to Amelia's rescue. They both nodded. Papi looked down. They were lying. It made my stomach turn. I felt exuded. Is that all? I asked, not hiding my frustration. No, well, Papi started, but Amelia cut her off curtly. Yeah, that's all. A honk interrupted our conversation. The girl exchanged looks. Who is it? It's James' car, exclaimed Ari. Look out the window. We're at the door. I can't believe it. He came here for you, June. Ari, his night-colored eyes lit up. How romantic, she mocked Swoon. Who told him I'd be here? I looked around before that, but nobody answered. Come here, Amelia grabbed my arm as Poppy handed her some lipstick. Oh, no, no, no. We all know you already look great, but a little makeup won't hurt. I put this on for you and didn't know what shade it was until I looked in the mirror. A violent shade of purple covered my lips, making them look huge. What on earth? Go, go, don't make him wait, Ari pushed me. For a minute, I felt like a, a guinea pig in a lab experiment, but I ignored the feeling and went downstairs. William was waiting for me at the door, wearing a dark colored shirt in a dazzling grin. I looked past his shoulder. James Hunter was leaning against the black Mustang car door, turning on his vape pen. He had his hood up, which created a big shadow that covered his face. I came here to apologize for yesterday, June. Williams stared at me intensely. No need to apologize. Well, really. Yes, I do. Last night was a disaster, and it was all my fault. Should have objected, but I didn't. Give me another chance. Say yes. A tense William looked up, and I looked toward where his gaze was directed at a big window. I wasn't surprised. Amelia, Poppy, and I were saying yes. I accepted it. I heard a chorus of cheers. His gray eyes turned to me, and I felt my knees tremble. Tomorrow night, party at my house. Wanna come? Of course, you tell my mom, right? Well, without being stupid, probably. I didn't even have the courage to look him in the eyes. William stared at my lips, and I wanted to pass out. The lipstick was really gusty. Why didn't I wipe it off? What if they were trying to make an idiot out of me? The thought was absurd, but it was hard to push it away. June, I also came to tell you something else. I looked at his perfectly styled hair and then at his delicate face. I'm not used to going out with girls. That's what's absurd. William was so beautiful that I inevitably asked myself what was wrong with the other girls in school since they only had eyes for that. Look over James' shoulder. I look over William's shoulders at James. He kept his head down, but I felt the attention as soon as he lifted his blue eyes to stare at me. I felt a chill immediately. I didn't want to feel that sensation, but it crawled across my skin. It made me forget about the lipstick William and the other girls giggling. There was something irresistible about the gaze, by his gaze. It was like a balance on a tightrope with my eyes closed. June, I want to keep seeing you. I know I have questionable friends, but they're being part of my life forever. James is like a brother to me. I can't turn my back on him. Did he say what? Yeah, obviously in his own way. I can't imagine. You can't turn your back on me to get laid. William did in the presence of June, stretching out his shoulders and puffing out his chest, making me laugh. Obviously, I don't think of you like that, he added quickly. Don't worry, I don't think you think, well, you know what I mean, I started before getting permanently tongue-tied. We stood there, alternating between grinning at each other and looking down at the ground. William bit his lip like he was holding back a sigh of relief. You had no idea how hard it was to getting him to bring me here. I bet he had quite a tantrum. I heard James clear his throat a bit. Damn it, can you guys talk about anything else beside me? He asked. I didn't worry about it. What do you think of fate? Well, I asked quietly, hoping nobody would hear me. That's a tough question. William massages the nape of his neck nervously. He was already embarrassed. The question seems to throw him off even more, but I was pleasantly surprised by his answers. It's something like, oh, my locker in June are close. Thanks, Fate. I held back a chuckle. So you're really coming? He prodded at my cheeks, burned, my admitted my impersonation skills won you over. William pushed a lock of my hair behind my ear. I felt his fingers softly caress my cheek, and we heard honking. Time's up, Romeo. We gotta go. I closed my eyes. I hate him. I know. I swear, I'm all yours tomorrow night. Joked William before taking my hand and squeezing it. The cheddar. Upstairs, we are soon. Too many people around. I gotta go. See you tomorrow night, June. William leaned in and kissed me on the jaw. I felt a sensation of naive sweetness and happiness that was immediately gone when I met James' sharp stare. 15. June. There's a two-drink limit, not one less. What do you mean? That way you're happier but not drunk. The girl and I had locked ourselves in William's bathroom. For 5 minutes, really as soon as we got there, Amelia probably wanted to fix their makeup and I followed them because I didn't even know where else to go. The living room was empty except for a few guys and there was no trace of William. Does this really look good on me? Like this, pointing at the dress. I was worrying. I asked Poppy because I wanted the truth. She played with the pierce of purple and blonde hair. Yeah, but your boobs are too big for it, she replied without thinking. What? Oh geez, I gotta change. I exclaimed in a panic and Mila gave us an icy death stare. Obviously, the rules are different for Poppy. One at least the most. Otherwise, she'll take your ear off about her imaginary rabbit. His name is Mr. Rabbit, and he is not imaginary. He just get out of his scrape a lot, so Amelia never seen him, but I swear he is real June. Poppy's naivete made me smile. Besides, I don't need to drink. I can have fun with or without alcohol, she added nonchalantly without realizing she made a dig at her friends. Amelia glossed over those words, maybe because she was too busy putting blood red lipstick on her thin lips. She turned around when she was satisfied and then stared arranging my hair without asking me, separating it with her hands. You look great, June. Can I put some liner on you? It'll make you it'll make your gorgeous just blue eyes hands on. The compliment made me even more skeptical. No thanks. Why did we come early? I asked, perplexed. To test the water, to do a vibe check and see if we match. Do I have to explain everything to you? And we're hiding in the bathroom because I kept asking a question that seemed ridiculous to her, but everything was new for me. I'd never been invited to a party, let alone one that was being hosted by the guy I like. It was automatic as soon as thought of William. I started checking myself in the mirror. Amelia was a little taller than me, but she was much willowier, and that difference was emphasized as soon as I agreed to wear one of her tight mini dresses. On the one hand, I was reluctant because we went the same size and I wasn't used to wearing provocative clothes. On the other hand, I was tired of spending my evening in bed and listening to Taylor Swift uh, as I watched true crime documentaries. I also wanted to feel the rush of feeling beautiful for an evening. Of course, I wasn't expecting Amelia to wear a black mini dress so similar to mine, and while her dress fit her like a glove, I felt like I was going to burst out of mine at any moment. I was pulling it down on my thighs and up on my cleavage. Where's Ari? With Brian. I'm done. No, it's Brian. Oh, guys, just a heads up. I'm gonna read after this chapter. I thought I was gonna read after 20, but nah, I do it for the next video. Guys. I promise I could read after 20 in the next video. Okay, let's continue, guys. He slept away for some foreplay. They've been doing that for almost 2 years. A scout of Poppy's answered by Amelia. Quickly change the subject. Don't worry about it, June. You shouldn't only think about William now. That was a clear declaration that he made outside my house. She whispered, hosting up my cleavage and showcasing my curves. Let's go. No, wait, I went looking in the mirror. No, wait, I went looking at myself in the mirror. Let's make a deal. You can keep your tennis shoes on if you at least put on some mascara, she declared, coming closer to me. I let her put it on, but now I didn't even recognize myself. I looked like one of those bimbos that my mom gave me death stares in the grocery store for extra reward points. It looks so hot. What are you afraid of? Amelia tried to console me. I don't really feel you don't feel comfortable, just like a guy magnet puppy said. You really know how to boost someone's ego, Amelia teased. I would have said turn on instead of attracted, but I control myself because of June's sensitivity. Thanks, Poppy. I appreciate it. I quipped sarcastically. Do you memorize the drink rule, June? I don't think I'm going to drink, but thanks for the tip, Amelia. And don't eat any candy if they offer it to you. At a Poppy, candy? Are we in kindergarten? I exclaimed, making them laugh. I didn't understand why they were laughing, but I got really anxious feeling when they got serious. Seriously, be careful. I thought about my mom again and the umpteenth lie I told her to be here. I'm gonna study at Amelia's. I have so much to catch up on. After all, what could go wrong? I had my answer as soon as we get out of the bathroom. Living room I seen 10 minutes ago was unrecognizable. There were people everywhere. The music was pounding and I couldn't barely hear Poppy. A few inches away from me, William's house looked like it been invaded an army of ants. Hold that. Hey guys, I'm gonna stop right there when I said the word army of ants. We're gonna finish reading this chapter in the next part of the video. Hope you guys have a good day, guys. Bye bye.